Great. Hey, I'm Cherie Valentine, and I'm here with probably I think maybe second official blog. I do a weekly one called Tappy Break, where we literally tap on the endpoints of the meridian system to flush out and clear any stuck energy, limiting beliefs, overwhelming emotions, unconscious stuff you don't even know that's holding you back. So I'm doing those Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the time being. That may change going forward, but right now, please jump on over and subscribe. I have this week's already scheduled, releasing judgments and using them to serve you, actually. But today, we're talking about integrating intelligence and creativity for maximum effectiveness. And so I'm an intuitive healer. I work with energy. I come from a shamanic perspective. I'm also a coach. I'm a spiritual guide, and what I do is really help you move forward in your life with your vision, whatever that is, personally and professionally. And I do it in a little pretty unique way because I really challenge you from an unconscious place. I really challenge you to integrate your head with your heart, with intelligence, with creativity. So that's what we're talking about today. And I have with me Peter. Peter, I don't know how to say your last name. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. Oh, there we go.
Agilblicities.
Okay, I'm just going to call you Peter, if that's okay.
Peter A. Peter A is fine.
Peter A, great. Okay. All right. So I actually wrote a blog post about this a little bit ago. And what inspired me on that post was a quote I saw from Albert Einstein. So I'm actually going to share that. And of course, I got to find it because I'm not as prepared as I should be. But anyway, he was, think about, I don't think many people think of Albert Einstein in a way of being creative. I don't know, I guess I never really did, but actually the guy was pretty phenomenal. And he was a great inspiration, I think, for how you really want to get things done. And here we go. Creativity is intelligence having fun. Like, how fun is that quote? Really, how much fun is that quote? And that totally inspired me to write a blog post about that, because I just personally, for me, I know, oh, there's no sound. Oh, of course not. No sound. Can you hear me now? How's that, Dave? Oh my God, of course, right? Is that better by any chance? Something got garbled.
I can hear you.
You can hear me okay? All right. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to just stop the... Okay, so we're talking about integrating intelligence with creativity. So Steve, I want to just say hello and tell us who you are and, your interest in this topic.
Yeah, sure. So, I'm Steve from the UK, and my interest in this topic. Wow, I'm getting so much feedback. I'm sorry about this.
That's okay.
I can. Let's see if that. Still going. Okay. I'll try my best with echo. Anyway, it's gone now. Hooray! My interest in this topic is I combine both of those. My career has combined creativity and I'd like to think intelligence. So that, and you got me on a big topic there, because the last time I was employed was as a digital marketer. Last time I was employed, as an employee rather than somebody that you hire. I was trying to evangelize to the marketing department that you have to be okay to fail. Okay? If you're okay to fail, then you can explore your creativity side of you, and then nobody's going to cane you or sack you if you fail. And that releases the possibility to achieve way greater than if you're sitting there scared as an employee.
I love that perspective. People don't always...
Hello, guys.
I'm glad you joined, but this is a really professional
Okay.
post I'm doing. So are you here on a professional? Yeah, okay, thanks. All right. So I love that perspective, especially about failing. I think that's the biggest fear we have is to fail. But if the truth and the reality is that we all fail often anyway. So if we can learn to embrace that and learn from those failures rather than judging them and holding on and letting them stifle our creativity. But especially, I love how you said that it's actually an opportunity to open up your creativity. So that's a really good point that I actually hadn't really thought about all that much. Yeah, David, it was a little awkward. I think I handled it well, though, don't you? But I think, I'm not sure you had jumped in, that we're actually inspired. I wrote a blog post about this some time ago, but what had actually inspired me was I'd seen a quote from Albert Einstein that said, "Creativity is intelligence having fun." And I just, that totally just, I don't know. I loved the fun. I guess I loved how light it was, but it brought such a new perspective into into intelligence, because I know for myself that, I know for myself that I've gone like on both sides. Like, I think I grew up for a long time, and I was creative and had no idea that I was. But how I was very successful as a child, I think, was really tuning into my intelligence, really being smart, really doing well in school, really getting all my validation and affirmation as far as being a really good student, really using my mind and just being in that place. And I think that the older I got, the more in that box I put myself, thinking that that's how I was supposed to be. And when I look back on a career, I had a degree in education, and I taught very little in the school systems. I actually went into more of accounting, and people were surprised. They were very surprised that I would be in that role, like that I would like accounting. And it didn't surprise me. To me, there was something about it. I think it felt very safe. It felt very, solid, numbers don't lie kind of things. But what I realized, every position I had, I was very creative. I mean, I was actually doing things I didn't know how to do and learning how to do them, sharing them in such a way, handling more than I could ever handle, but putting things in place that no one had thought to do. So at the time, it didn't seem creative at all to me. It was just what I was doing. But as I reflect back on it, I think the reason I loved the particular roles that I had working in accounting were that I had such a role of freedom, of flexibility, that creativity was really fueling what I did. I mean, I created handbooks, I created policies, I put an online expense system in place using spreadsheets, right? we had four. I mean, at the time, it's not a big deal now, but it was just like, I think back in like the early 90s, and we had 4 countries. We had England and Australia and Canada and US. And so they used to come in on these, handwritten pieces of paper with all of these, expense receipts. And it was so cumbersome and so tedious. And I went in and just started to play around and learn Excel and created things that converted things. Everyone started submitting them that way. They were scanning in their receipts, and it was just making everyone's job so much easier. And at the time, to me, like, that was just, I don't know, it's just, that was interesting to me. It's a lot more fun than just looking at expense papers. So anyway, I think that there's such a misunderstanding that I think most of the time we probably are engaging both of them, but more people tend to lean toward one or the other. People who are highly creative tend to almost ignore that there is an intelligent side to what they do, or how they especially in marketing, maybe you're promoting yourself or thinking of yourself and bringing it into a business environment. So what do you think about that?
Bringing creativity into a business environment, or the marketing? Sorry, which part?
I want you right now. You sound like you don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm not a good
multitasking.
I can't talk, listen, read, and type at the same time.
No, that's why you need a co-host.
Exactly.
But I mean, I think the best thing to do is have a chat, and then if people really want to make a point, we either go quiet and we look at them, or join the seat, make a point. But so I was confused as to what you wanted me to hone in on. I mean, I'm passionate about creativity because of all the things in life. That moment when you get inspiration is one of my main reasons for living. That is one of the best feelings when you go, oh, wow. And then you're off on a tangent or what have you.
So I just, your points at all, like, I just think that it's really important to bring both together. And in the post that I wrote, I did like 6 different things that people can do, especially if you think you lean more one way or the other. I mean, and I just think that we often discount ourselves as thinking we're one or the other. So I think it's important. And I'll just give you an example, and then let me see what you think on this and bring in your perspective. But so I know there's often times where I'm pretty clear and from a very inspired, motivated place that I think comes from within, which I think that's where creativity comes from. And I am like really excited to bring something into this world, whether it's in my personal life or in a professional capacity, like a class I want to teach or something I want to write. But then I find it's so easy then to go into my head and with the intelligent piece, I think, maybe the logical, the linear, and try and either force it or make it all happen and be so much in that space that I forget what was fueling it in the first place. And then those things, when I'm trying to, I guess, be too much with the logical piece of it, that they don't seem to come out and work out as well for me as when I kind of allow myself to stay in that creative space with it. But I can't completely ignore that there is a piece of logic that needs to be involved in, what I'm doing as far as making it become real.
Got you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think to summarize that then, or play off of it if you like, the creativity is the yes, and the logical is often the no.
I like that.
Okay. Now, there's 2 things I want to say. First of all, the logical is there to help you test your idea. If you just went creativity the whole time, you'd be all over the place. You'd be like a tree scattering around, and you wouldn't be that effective. So you do need your business head on to say, well, come on, that's just completely ridiculous. But I think you've got to be creative, but then I think you need what will happen is if you're going off in a certain direction, which comes from a position of creativity, you're keeping that way, and you might be years down the line still doing that way of doing things. And so I think you need a little bit of downtime from time to time, just to go, hang on, have I lost perspective here from the original piece of creativity? For example, I run YouTube channels, various YouTube channels, yeah? And the easiest thing in the world is for me to continually churn out the same content. But after a period, you just got to sit back and you've got to look at the analytics and say, yeah, but are people engaging with that certain type of content? So creativity, yes. Logic, no. But when the two marry together, then you've got dynamite.
And that is a really good example. And I'm thinking, I know for myself, sometimes that piece is not always there. Like, I find I love creating the content. I love sharing the content. I love working with my clients. I love teaching my classes, I love all of that. But to have to actually sit down and look at the numbers and look at the analytics and look at that side of it, I'm a little bit, remiss there. And I'm knowing for myself that needs to, be a little bit more integrated.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is there, if I may interrupt, is you said in your intro to me when I arrived that one of your skill sets is you come from an accounting background, a part of your career was, and that's all number crunching. Now, isn't it funny when it comes to your content, you're not so enthralled to number crunch it?
It is funny, isn't it?
I'm not having a go at you because I have the same problem. I go along the line, I think, oh, that's boring. I don't want to do that. I'm enjoying doing the content. But what's happened there is I got too caught up in that. You've got to make money at the end of the day. Exactly. So you need to look at what's working.
Oh, it's so true. No, it's true. And the irony is, as you say that, when I actually do sit down and go in and look at the numbers and get information from that, it's actually pretty exciting. I mean, it's like, it is really cool when you say, whoa, look at the numbers on this one. People are loving this stuff, or whoa, nothing's happening here, or whoa, I need to shift up this because, this, the open rates here just aren't happening. So why not? And when I'm willing to take the time, I'm actually pretty excited to do it. But for some reason, I think there's still a disconnect between those integrations for me to kind of make that as important as creating the content.
Hi guys, what's up?
Hi Ben.
What's up?
All right.
Hey, yeah, Ben, sorry.
Now, what was I going to say about?
Give me 1 second. I'm not as nice as you, Tim. You bring people in and you really have some patience with them and let them show up. But I just can't do that. I'm sorry if I'm getting a sense right away that they're not here in a professional way and to really add value. So, and I'm sorry if I insulted you, Ben Tate, but if you have some real stuff, please put it in the content and let me know that you really want to be in here in a very positive way. Okay? Because I'm very positive. It's all about light. It's about information. It's about sharing, and it's about making a difference. And if you want to do that, yeah, okay. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Trust those instincts, folks. You have to trust your intuition. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. So, so the solution for both of us is to just get back to scheduling that time to look at the numbers. I was on I don't know. I forget. I've seen so many things now. But was it a Blab? Was it a podcast? Was it YouTube? I don't know. But one of the secrets is making that time so that you don't potentially go off on a tangent for months that isn't so profitable than the content you produce that is. Could I ask you?
Yes.
So, what kind of content are you into? Video? Do you blog? What kind of stuff do you produce online?
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah, I love writing. I really love video, but I prefer video when I have somebody else with me. I just find I'm starting to embrace Periscope though, and it's getting easier for me to not feel like just talking to an empty screen. But for me, I noticed last year that I started to do a weekly hangout, which was, it's like sort of before Blab. And because there were people there, and because there was engagement for me, I find I'm a lot better to show up and speak on video. And the consistency of it really started to, I saw a big shift in my numbers, like people coming to my website, people signing up for my free meditations. So the content that I do, I love, love, love to write. I enjoy doing video. I love creating meditations, like really quick 5-minute meditations, because everyone thinks that they don't have time to meditate, and they think that it has to be like this difficult thing. So I create these meditations that are quick and easy. I used to do radio show, so it was all audio. I create like little classes that you can purchase either individually or as a whole. So I like to create in many different capacities. Long answer to that question.
It's a good answer though, because it tells me that we're on oh, hello Ian, by the way. He's a good guy, Ian Murray there.
He wants to come in. You've got validated. You can come in.
And now I've lost my point.
Sorry. You said it was a good. I said that was a long answer,
you.
and you said, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm hearing from you a creative heart, a creative spirit. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I'm also an artist. I'm on here with my marketing hat today, but I'm also a 3D animator.
Ooh.
And the thing about artists is they love the art. Yeah, the marketing side of it, the hard hat side of it, is usually not so much their thing. But in this, well, anyway, in time, but particularly in this modern world, you have to split your time. Now, I'm on a site called stage32.com, which is for people that work in the film industry. And the lead guy of that, Richard Botto, says he spends 50% of his time networking, 50% producing whatever he's doing. And that really influenced me, actually, when I came across him.
So, okay. But what else? So it's either networking or producing.
Yeah.
So then he must have a team of people then for all the other stuff.
He does.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah. He's made it.
Adding up. 50-50 is 100. That's all we got when it goes.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah.
But okay. But anyway, it did make an impact on you. So how so?
Because so I'm on a long-term project, which is to hopefully get my screenplay seen, hopefully optioned, hopefully made into a movie. It's a long shot project, but I like tough challenges. I've lived my whole life that way. So the problem with a long-term art project is you do need to make it, but in this modern world, you need to make it and tell people about it as you're making it. So I've only been doing that by producing content, but what he highlighted to me is you need to network. You need to physically get out there. And that's why I'm on Blab, because I'm meeting some real quality people. You know, it's the quickest way of doing that.
You know, I think it's such a misnomer or a misconception to think that networking isn't one of the most important things that we do. And I think when you start to become a business owner, an entrepreneur, whatever, you know, start to want to market yourself or your product or services, that's one of the most important things to do, is to build those relationships. And I think that I'm not sure everyone really understands that coming into it. You know, it's so easy to want to spend time just creating content all the time, because as a creative, you know, that's our sweet spot, right? But what good is it if we have it and no one knows about it, or no one's interested in it? It's so important to actually be able to network, and I'm loving Blab for that reason. I love the FaceTime interaction. That's how I enjoy. I think I would say 90% of my clients come because they've either met me, talked to me, or been referred by somebody else who's worked with me. So
90%.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, I have 10% that do come in through just pure, maybe random Google searches and finding me. So it's really important for me to get my face out there, to connect to people, to talk to people, to help people, promote people, you know, do as much as I can to build that relationship. And, you know, it does get difficult if you're always doing it traveling somewhere. I mean, I spent maybe 4 years, like literally flying all over the country in Canada to network, to go to, you know, different kinds of things.
That must have cost.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I'd love to say that those years that, you know, it actually helped with my loss and the taxes. But it helped. It did help build a visibility for me. It did help me make some really wonderful connections that to this day I can maintain using social media. And now with Hangouts on Air, you know, and with Labs, the opportunities to do what I love to do without having to travel as much, even within my own geographic area, are phenomenal.
From a time-saving point of view, from an efficiency point of view, this is so much better.
It is. It is.
Hello, Dave Moore.
Got a full room here. Hey, Dave. It is Mr. Dave Moore. I always love seeing you, Dave. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, nice to be here. I thought I'd pop in before a client gets here. I've got about 10 minutes, so I thought I'd pop in and see you.
Hi, Ian. It's very nice to meet you. I'm Cherie.
Hi, Cherie.
Yeah. Steve. All right. So I love hearing different perspectives than my own. That's how I learn and grow, and that's how other people learn, and people here need to hear things differently, you know? So do you have a little bit of time, Ian? I'm going to let Dave go first, if you don't mind, since I know he's got to jump off for a client.
Absolutely.
I'm going to listen.
Perfect. Great. Okay. All right, Dave, give it to me. You always have an interesting viewpoint.
Well, no, I mean, I've been listening. I've been reading the timeline, you know, which is always fun. It's an interesting. I haven't really got into this Blab thing. This is about the third time I've been on one, and it's very immediate. It's very easy, very accessible, and I find it a little bit easier to use. But I don't really understand the context of it. Okay. Is it a permanent thing? You know, but it's a nice thing to have it. To network with, because as you said, networking is the key to everything. You know, it's really down to how many people you know and who you know, and making connections. And connections are the thing that build the business now. You know, making connections to people all over the world, which is you know, the internet has taken a sole entrepreneur to us. It's made them become a sole entrepreneur no more, because they can contact with everybody and get answers immediately from people they've never met. I find the internet to be very inclusive. Nobody hides anything, really. Everybody shares how you do this. If you've got an issue, how do you do this with Blab? How do you do this with a Hangout? How does this work? And everybody will tell you. It's not as if, oh no, you know, we can't tell you that, it's a secret. You know, it's so inclusive. It's a wonderful tool.
It's very generous. But I'll tell you, I've only been using Blab maybe a couple of weeks. I started out just sitting on my phone and watching them, get a sense of what was happening and how they were being used, and if it was something I was interested in. And it didn't take me long to be like, I love this. But you know, you can use great content. I mean, it's another way to create good content. You know, I mean, I'm pretty intentional for myself that when I'm hosting a Blab, there's a topic that's really relevant to my audience and to myself, and that I want that on my YouTube station as well. I want to share it. It's going to be a blog post. It's, you know, it may become, some of them will be podcasts. There's some great software coming out. I guess it's going to really integrate it all. And so for me, that's a really good thing. I've learned a lot. I can't even tell you how much I'm learning just by joining different ones. I mean, I've been in them every night. I've been co-hosting. I've met some amazing people. I think the connections that I'm making are so much deeper and seem more real, I think, because you have a really good sense of tuning in, for me, energetically, which is kind of what I do, as to who, you know, who's good, who's not. But I'm finding everybody is extremely generous. I like it better than Hangouts only because this, to me, I love this. We can all see each other. Everyone can see everyone instead of the film strip. It's so much easier, I think, to use. And for me to have the option of my phone or my computer is really attractive to me, because with Hangouts, I could not be on my phone and be participating. So that
the one thing that I really want to come out of this, when these platforms appear and link themselves like this has to Twitter, and then the Hangouts with Google, you know, you can do these on your iPhone.
Yes.
And the one thing that I want to come out of this is that Apple wakes up and somehow gives you more battery power in your iPhone, because with this, you can just see it just going down on your iPhone. You know.
Yeah, I keep.
You got to be permanently plugged in.
You know, I have a Bose that sits on my desk in the dock. My phone sits on the dock when I'm in my desk. In my car, I've got one in my USB, and I just me.
Yeah, so when I say get connected, that isn't what I meant. You know, be connected to every power source is what I thought. You know?
One other thing that Blab has done for me is really tuned me in and connected me with Twitter in a way. I mean, I was always really intimidated by Twitter. I just didn't get it. I didn't understand it. But like seriously, in a week, I'm loving Twitter in a way I never have, and really seeing why it's so phenomenal. You know, so I mean, this is just I'm just loving it. But I'm going to stop, and Ian, I'd love to hear your perspective.
That's okay. I understand you've got on a roll and you're really excited with Twitter. I completely understand.
I'm just excited with this whole platform and the opportunity, because I think for me, you know how everyone's going to find your sweet spot, and this is the ultimate integrating intelligence and creativity. I think this platform, for me anyway.
It certainly helps a lot at a platform level, and you're right. That integration with Twitter and the fact that you can have such conversations here is really connecting. And I guess when I saw the title of the Blab, I was thinking of a slightly different tangent. We'll get to that shortly. But I don't think this is everything around intelligence and creativity coming together. But what it forces us to do is to get creative, because each of us has to think on our feet to have these conversations. And it opens you up to the opportunities that might exist, like Dave and I are meeting right now. There'll be some common factor that we would never have been aware of otherwise. So the creativity of that synergy to produce something better than what we can do ourselves is unleashed once we're in a platform like this, with the relationships that we build like this. Yeah. But I think we have to take it that next step and start asking more of the creative questions, because we have, in our businesses, we have a very left brain approach to delivering whatever it is we do. And the right brain is a great way to unleash those opportunities. So when we have conversations in our businesses with our clients, with our suppliers, the questions we need to ask are ones around possibility, not just the way we've always done it. And that's how Blab was created, right? It was possibilities. It was looking at things like you mentioned Hangouts before, where you have 8 to 10 people potentially all live. The fact that this is limited to the 4 boxes has much stronger connection than Hangouts ever delivered.
Would you prefer it to be more than 4 boxes, or do you think 4?
No, I think 4 is a really nice number, because for me, as a not just as a speaking coach, but also as a facilitator. I do a lot of working with rooms and considering panels and things like that. And I've seen panels with 6 people, and they're hard, not only for the facilitator, but for the audience as well. Whereas here, they can see 4 people, and it's a really good number to get your head around.
Yeah.
It's a nice number. So I think 4, maybe 5 is about really just a nice number.
I remember them saying that
conversation.
I remember them saying that Google Hangout was 8, and I've been on one before now, and there's been 11. You know, and I don't know how it gets like that, but it's so busy. I mean, when you see the line, it looks like the Last Supper or something. You know, you think, who's going to speak next? Like, who is it? And sometimes it doesn't shift from the person who's controlling it to the person who is speaking. And you're sitting there thinking, well, look, whose mouth is moving here? You can't tell who is speaking. This is just, there's no need for that.
Yeah,
I like
it needed to be too much automation helping us.
Yeah.
And we don't need that here. This makes it easier. Other platforms have managed that better, like Zoom shows who's speaking a bit better. But yeah, that was one of the challenges with Hangouts. But equally, it needed this back channel, like in our chat box here. Hangouts, you had to use extra plugins to really leverage that, which were fantastic. You could have some very big Hangouts, but they were all, listening only, not participating like the 4 of us can now.
Right.
Yeah.
Do I like Zoom? RD Sales Melanie asks. Yeah, I do like it for what it is. One of the things I do, Melanie, has been work in a environment where we have a group of, say, 20, 25 people, and we've tested probably a dozen different platforms for that group meeting, but it has to be a closed group, so I need to have some security, so Blab wouldn't work. But Zoom is probably one of the cheaper, better ones that, for that number of 25, it's about $10 a month. And that's a good price. Whereas if you used GoToMeeting or something, you'd be talking 5 times that.
Good. So I just wanted to clarify that was not meant to be a Blab discussion on integrating creativity and intelligence. We started out really differently. It just has moved into that. So because I love Dave, and we met each other through Hangouts, and so I was just sharing with him, I think, why this is such a phenomenal platform for all of us to use. And I'll say one more thing, and then let's get back to topic in the general sense, and because I know you can just share some things. So Dave, the other wonderful thing is when you're done with the Blab, you get an email, and you can literally save the video, save the audio, and then upload and do what you will with them, or easily.
Right.
Or work.
If you're the host.
If you're the host, if you were made co-host, I believe also, like if I were to make the co-host, you would also get that same email.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. So if somebody out there who knows what they're talking about, I know. Yes, thank you, Robert. Okay, yeah. So, for me, that's pretty easy, especially with my tappy breaks, because they are a podcast as well. So it's really easy for me when I'm done, just upload, bing, do what I have to do. It's a little whole process I have, but now I've got the 2 channels very easily. It's less cumbersome than what I was doing from the Hangouts.
I agree with Robert in the chat, in the timeline there, when he said about 4. I think this setup of 4 is the best. I hope they don't go a little bit bigger than this, but you can never tell. I've got to go because I can see my appointment coming up the driveway. So I thought I'd pop in and just say...
You need to be watching Robert C. Stern, though, Dave Moore, and Rocker Life Coach. I'm telling you, I've learned more about Blabs from the 2 of them, and they are on it all the time. So go find them and follow them, seriously.
And you know what a Luddite I am, with technology. It's I give it to someone else to do.
I'll get you humming along.
We've been in chats before where somebody's been speaking about doing this, doing that, and they've asked me, and I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but getting advice from me about it. I have to get a second opinion when I switch the laptop on. But the thing with it is, I'm not a technical person. Creative, but technical.
I really didn't get that from you, Dave.
Sorry?
I really thought you understood technology a lot better by the way you speak. I really couldn't tell that you weren't.
No, I don't.
Absolutely. By the way, he runs a group. You used, you tell me that all the time, but yet I see you using all the technology. So.
Oh, yeah, I know what I'm doing with what I do, but anything new,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. We don't know what we don't know. Right,
I haven't got time for it.
All right.
Just following along the ball.
I wear trousers. I have no idea how they're made. That's it. So
Nor do you need to know, right? So that's
I
okay.
don't need to know. Anyway, I thought I'd pop in and support you as I saw you.
Thank you. I always appreciate seeing you. Love you.
10% of my battery drained as I watched you earlier. Apple's got to do something about this, but I'll see you all again soon.
Perfect. Take care. Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Hey, Robert. Thank you for coming in and joining.
Hello, Miss Cherie.
How are you?
Good. I don't want to talk to Ian because he's going to critique me.
I want to hear. He came in here to say something, and the poor guy's been.
No. The funny part is Ian was doing this huge thing, and he had people coming in, and I got kind of wham bam to go in and get it, suckered in. But I think Ian was slightly impressed. I didn't. I kept going. But I'm also a believer, it's interesting how you put this title in here, Integrate Intelligence and Creativity for Maximum Effectiveness, which sounds like this huge thing. But in reality, it's so simple.
It is.
It's big words saying a very, very simple process.
So true.
Do your best. Speak your mind. Do your best. Be yourself. And just be out there.
Okay, that's really loving and creative and relationship building, and that's all coming heart-centered. But I know you, and I've watched you, and I've learned from you. There's some intelligence behind all of that, and you are, you're not just showing up.
Intelligence is what you make it to be.
Yeah. So I guess when I say intelligence, really what I mean is logic, probably. I mean,
strategy.
The title was taken from a quote I took from Einstein, which is it was very playful in it, and it really caught my attention. But it's really more logic.
I mean, to me, it's having a strategy to come on here and know what you're trying to. What's the word? You're trying to do.
There's no try. There's only do or not do.
No, there is tries, believe it or not, because sometimes I've come on and failed.
Yeah.
I've come on with a certain focus of what I wanted to do, and I didn't get my point across. And it means I didn't do my job.
Yep.
Okay.
It happens. You can have the greatest title in the world. You can have a strategy ready to go. I admit when I'm wrong. You can have a strategy ready
guys,
to go.
you heard that here.
No, I always admit when I'm wrong.
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
There is a try. You know, the difference between a try and a do is you do it by coming on here and putting a strategy together and putting it in place and doing it. If it didn't work, that means you tried, and now you need to regroup and do it again.
That's a positive spin. Like, I've just always thought about if I've done it and I failed, at least I still did it. I wasn't just stuck in my head thinking about it, and now I can learn from that. So I just
as long as you learn.
And that's integrating your intelligence into the creativity. Yes. You just did it. You came on, you had an ability to do something, it didn't work, you learn from it, you regroup, you come back on, and you do it again. The old saying, you fell off the horse, get back on.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't do something and then it didn't work or the intention you had behind it didn't work out and say, oh, I'm done. You just gotta be, okay, what do I need to tweak next time? Where was I unclear? What needs to be done differently? And you just do it again. So yeah.
But we are part of the 4% that think that way.
Really?
There's a lot of other people who don't have that creativity and strategy mindset who will show up at a workshop and want to be spoon-fed each item, and you need to take them into that creative zone to explore opportunities. And I think that is something that we need to learn as teachers and presenters, there's Tim now, as teachers and presenters, to actually tap into that side and unleash those people. Because a lot of them can't think that way. They don't think that way. They can, but they don't.
No, I would. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think so much of the work I've done with people is helping them to get more out of their head and into another space so that they can actually see possibility, that they can create something that they had no idea was even possible or they could see for themselves because they're so much outside of that creative realm for themselves.
That's why we take people out of the business, out of the workplace, out of their home to learn something new. So they're out of their comfort zone because they just keep doing the same thing otherwise.
True.
That's why I set up that whole town hall approach that I'm doing with my thing. I'm going town to town. I'm bringing people, all these small business places into a place, and I'm in control, not them. But the best part about it is they're not being sold anything. They're being sold on what to do to help themselves, not a book, not a webinar, not anything like that. So when they walk out, it's like, wow, he didn't sell me anything. He actually just educated me on how to do things. And by doing that, my intelligence and logic is, who are they going to call when they do need stuff?
Yeah, you're growing mindshare.
I now gave them information for free, got them signed up to maybe a free newsletter or something like that, and things like that. And when they have more questions, they're automatically coming back to me. It's a simple process, but it's intelligent.
I know you hate that word, but you're building value. You're building you're building strength, so they trust. You're building a level of trust with them.
Yep. And soon now, Ian, where are you located out of?
Melbourne, Australia.
That's what I thought. Okay. So I'll see you next year. I'm coming to Sydney and May.
Good. Is that already scheduled in, Robert, or is that going to be like the next?
No, that's scheduled in because that's the next Periscope Summit after San Francisco.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
So I'm coming out for Periscope Summit. I'm actually going to stay 2 weeks. I'm going to bring my daughter, and I'm probably going to put on one of my events out there also. I'll schedule it set up so this way I have money to fly back because, to get to Australia, it's going to kill me.
You're going to sell us stuff.
I got to sell some tickets to get out of the country. Otherwise, they're stuck.
You've got to get someone to buy them then. Make sure you get back.
Exactly. Otherwise, they're stuck with me. I mean, I don't know if they're going to allow me in the country unless I have a ticket out.
No, they wouldn't. I'll tell them.
So I have a question, a Blab question, guys.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to stop this party, but I really have to go. If I get out and stop recording and get out, can you guys stay in and continue this conversation if that's something you wanted to do? Or once I kill it, does it dead? I'm always curious about that.
Once you make somebody a co-host, this can go for 24 hours, and that co-host can make a co-host, and that co-host can make a co-host. You can have a Blab going forever if you just keep adding co-hosts to it.
Okay, so I really do have to go. Do you want one of you want to be a co-host and keep going, or should?
No. I just came in to say hi because I saw you in, and after yesterday, the other day, I did not acknowledge you in my crowd of people that because the other worst part was, I know you were there because I answered a question that you said something about. Mm-hmm. You saw that chat.
I did.
You saw how fast that thing was moving. And when I'm talking, I'm focused on the camera and I'm trying to talk to people and do stuff. So I don't see the chat all the time. So I'm sorry about that. So when I saw you were here, I said I have to go in and acknowledge her. So
I can't even tell you how much I appreciate you for that.
I mean, if Tim said that to me, I'd throw it out the window because it really doesn't mean much. But, with you, obviously, it means more. And Ian's here.
This is why, Cherie, you co-host my shows and not Robert.
And I know Robert thinks you should have a different co-host, but I'm telling you, I'll do it anytime you need me.
Even if it's the same time as Tim's?
Well, I would never compete with Tim. I'm smart. I do have some sense of intelligence and creativity.
It was interesting the other night to see people actually decide which one to be in, and some people telling us they were listening. They were
listening to both of us at the same time.
Both of us.
Okay, before I schedule anything, I need to go in and make sure you're not doing one, Robert, or you're not doing one. Nobody will come to mind if either one of you have one going on.
When you have a relationship with people on here, Cherie, they're going to come for a relationship with you. And, we can joke about that, and we do, but really, he has a subject that's different than mine. So when we do that, they're coming to me for my subject and me, and they're going to him for his subject and him.
And you know what the greatest thing in the world is? You pick one and you go to it. And you subscribe to the other. Yeah. Because if you show up in the other one, you don't get the email.
No, it emails you. It just tells you, here's the replay.
No. If you subscribe to something, don't go to it, you get the email with the replay. Yeah. If you show up to it, you don't get the email.
No, I got an email for yours.
Which one?
Replay. The one that I had to drop out of and said, catch the replay.
Then maybe they changed it because there's a bunch of them that I've showed up to I've never got emails on.
Okay.
As soon as I went in, the email disappeared.
We're going to investigate it and try it and see.
Yeah.
I'll just text Sean.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's easier to go to him.
Clearly he knows people. He can find out.
You call us peeps to let our peeps know. Yeah.
All right, so Ian,
I know you got to go.
I don't think you ever got to share what you came on to share, and I am so sorry for
That's
that.
okay. I can handle it. I know I've been
just keep trying to
upstaged by the
schedule
men in
these.
red and the men in blue.
Oh,
But I really might have to go, unfortunately. So, but can I say thank you for coming in? I appreciate it so much. And Tim and Robert, obviously, I really appreciate both you guys, and thank you so much for coming in too. And thank you for everybody that was here participating. I love all the comments. I'm sorry if I didn't get to all of them. I'll look at them again and try and get back to you. And just have a great day.
Take care, sure.
Bye.
Cheers, guys. Talk soon.